So hello to everyone. Today I'm going to continue my story about the souls of animal guardians and also about Radomir. And in this part, I will explain how these topics are connected at all, why my vision regarding the image of Radomir led me to realize what these animal souls actually are. Let's continue. I stopped at the point where, at some moment, when Radomir saw that this galaxy, specifically this dark galaxy, was directly involved in certain manipulations, and that the owners or overseers of that galaxy were basically devouring worlds everything was leading back to. He made the decision to leave here and report it to the higher council. I'll clarify something right away. Many people ask, in the Sunny Club and here too, why so many souls are born here, why they don't talk about what's happening, why they don't sound the alarm or something like that. Understand that not all souls are capable of noticing a huge violation at the galactic level. Think about it. How could a relatively young soul, say an animal soul living here, or even a human soul in a body that's effectively at a soul age of only 60 or 70, grasp such cosmic scale parameters? Realize that, oh, so it's the galaxy that's engaged in the takeover of creation. Or I see who's doing it. For what reason? To grasp these events and gather the relevant facts, you'd need certain data. Data that only those in the galaxy's structures could compare. You'd need a soul that knows how creation is structured, that understands how documents are submitted in cosmic offices, that knows how to break certain defenses. Exert. A young soul, 17 or 20 years old in cosmic terms, just can't process all that. Yes, in many videos on my YouTube channel, I've explained how souls progress from the first to the sixth density, learning very simple experiences at first, like how it is to be a mosquito, a plant, a dog or cat, a human. This is knowledge of states. By the time the soul gets to the seventh or eighth density, it's a completely different level of understanding. People in the Sunny Club ask me to talk about seventh and eighth density. I explained there that it's absolutely a different realm of understanding, far beyond the earlier levels. At the seventh or eighth density, the soul is only beginning to get acquainted with what a higher office is, how everything is structured, how the broader canvas of creation is woven, and so on. Even then, you start with minimal positions in the cosmic administration, and to reach a level where you can truly assess, oh, all these events are happening at the galactic scale, you must be a soul of enormous maturity, someone who has worked at a galactic level. That's not the typical 7th to 25-year-old soul that incarnates here in third density existence. Radomir, on the other hand, was precisely that kind of extremely advanced soul. I think he might be the only one of that order who incarnated here. Even the guardian of our realm isn't as ancient, not enough to make such galaxy-level evaluations. Radomir's presence here was no accident. Most likely, it wasn't only because he was a true soul pair of the guardian of this creation, but also because they needed someone of a very high order to witness these things firsthand and then give an official assessment that would be recognized at the cosmic level. Maybe you'll say, aren't the words of smaller souls enough? All these poor souls complaining about what's going on. But as I've mentioned before, the procedure is that local offices, the Chancellery, would file complaints with the galaxy's own administration. But if that same galaxy is the culprit, complaining to it is pointless. That's why they needed a soul from outside of extremely high rank to see for themselves and then initiate a higher court investigation. You'll recall I've said that many other realms were already captured by these dark methods. Our realm is the only one that managed to hold on and keep resisting. They still haven't fully succeeded here, and now they never will, because this high judgment has been initiated, and the one who could initiate it, it was none other than Radomir, because he's a soul of the order that creates entire systems and galaxies with the authority to say, yes, this violates the code, ok. So, returning to Radomir's earthly life, once he realized the galaxy was involved actively, not just silently, he decided to leave. Imagine how agonizing that decision must have been. I discussed this whole story with a close acquaintance, and we concluded that our concepts are so inverted here. Black is white is black. At the time Radomir chose to depart, our legion was nearly fallen. The onslaught was extremely strong. He knew that if they captured him, if they did to him what they did to the others, locking him up or performing certain rites, then everything would be lost. So, in effect, yes, he had to save himself. He understood that meant abandoning certain territories, people, allies, leaving them vulnerable, which is horrifying. But if he were captured, that would be the end for all. I saw in my visions how painful that choice was. Still, before leaving, he protected the territories as best he could. He gave some last measure of aid. I used to describe a vision of a natural scene, maybe a grassy hill, something like a plain or steppe, where a whole group of giant warriors stood, not small humans, but more like mighty bog-eaters. I always got the word Gruzina for Radomir's forces, a meaning company of warriors. He stood gazing at the sky, then sank his hand into the earth. I told you about this image, like he pressed his fingers down into the soil, and the spirit that was with him, his animal guardian spirit, he placed into the earth to protect it. Then he departed upward. 2 years ago, I didn't grasp what that meant. Now, it's come to me that this act was effectively a funeral rite, so to speak. Yes, I realized just recently that it was a kind of funeral ceremony. After that, I decided I should record all this, talk about Radomir, and revisit older visions so we can decipher them fully, placing all the final puzzle pieces. In future, I also want to continue Radomir's story, like once he flew upward, what happened next, which offices he contacted to initiate an Intergalactic Code proceeding. I'd like to see how that procedure went. I also want to dive deeper into my vision of the Chinese dragon, which keeps gaining context from these new realizations. And I want to look at Kronos, what that was all about and why we do that, so together we can draw some conclusions. But for now, let's circle back to the animal guardian, because I explained these animal souls dwell with us inside our bodies. People ask, what do you mean by the soul of an animal that's with us? In the Sunny Club, I talked about how we don't live in our bodies alone. There's also a second presence, a spirit or animal soul, that merges with ours in a kind of symbiosis. Many cultures have described it in various ways. For example, shamans say they see an animal spirit. Real shamans. That is not the modern knockoffs who just worship some random deity. I once met a genuine shaman who said he saw these animal souls and recounted how the Dark One is hunted and killed most true shamans because they recognized how dangerous for them if humans stay in sync with their animal spirit. For the Dark Ones, it's crucial to break that bond. We see vestiges of this idea in many traditions, like Native American cultures. They'd refer to each person having a totem animal, a guide. But the mainstream modern Chinese zodiac or such is just a diluted replacement, not truly representing your personal inner animal. In reality, we each have a unique animal spirit that best fits our soul. For more details, I dedicated an entire stream in the Sunny Club about these inner animal guardians, how they mesh with your body and your consciousness to form a deeper unity. Our usual modern reality blocks us this knowledge, but if you can discover your own animal spirit and live in harmony with it, you restore your links to your own deeper soul and thus to subtle capabilities. So, if for most people their animal guardian is something normal, I also realized that some folks have encountered reptile-like imagery. Perhaps it's connected to psychopathy, lack of empathy, and so on. Possibly their totem animal is reptilian, which might explain their coldness. Our biological body belongs partly to this creation, so our synergy with the world's matter is partly expressed through an animal form. Some call it the unconscious in psychology. If we truly synchronize with that unconscious or animal side, listening to our instincts, feelings, deeper senses, that's how we regain our subtle perception. As for me, personally, since childhood I always listened to my inner self, my feelings, needs, and so forth, and that gave me strong ties to the subtle. But if we focus only on external influences, we'll never unlock that. Back to the matter of true rulers like Radomir. I finally understood what it meant when he pressed his hand into the earth, transmitting his guardian spirit into it, then flew upward. I see now that act was a form of funeral or departure ritual. He placed that guardian spirit inside the land. Meanwhile, he himself left. We can call it a kind of protective measure. The earlier visions I had showed him doing that and departing, and I wasn't fully sure of the significance until recently. Say, alright, so I wanted to clarify these older visions, tie up any loose ends. Next, I wanted to continue Radomir's story. He took off skyward, then what? Which instances did he contact? How did he set up an intergalactic code? I'd like to glean how that whole procedure might have gone, and I also want to revisit the Chinese dragon vision, because as my awareness grows, that vision gains new detail. I want to explore the Kronos too, what it was, why it existed. Then together we'll draw some further conclusions. For now, that's all I have. I hope this information is useful to you and sparks new realizations. Also, I want to thank you for being here with me on Boosty as well, because Boosty gives me the chance to do what I do. Your support there allows me to share all these visions I see. This info is pretty specialized, sometimes heavy, and it isn't something I necessarily want to post openly on YouTube. There's no real filter there, and also I don't want to hand it over to the dark ones on a platter. Of course, if this info exists in our world space, it can be picked up, but I still hesitate to post it publicly. So I'm very glad this platform exists, along with those who are willing to be here with me. I love you all. Once again, thank you for your support. Hugs to everyone. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share my channel. Become a member of my Telegram channel and discuss with like-minded people as a supporting club member.